Alright, this is CP Process F11. We're gonna be talking about just rollouts, the different callouts for positions, then your like standard holding positions, and ideas for when to push. This map review is mostly going to be for like newcomer or low amateur players for those divisions in RGL or relative to other um, places like ETF2L. And it'll be more of a supplement rather than an in-depth kind of thing to other more complex map reviews. So, starting with the callouts, we're going to start on last and make our way to mid. There's two shutters on your spawn door, so we just say like right spawn and left spawn in looking forward perspective. Above spawn, we have right heaven. So we're going to be talking about red perspective here, so that would be right heaven and left heaven. And then I don't know what the center area is called, but I just call it heaven. This bar above point is just above point. Next, we have just left and right. So not the doorways, just this area here is right side versus left side, or you can make up other callouts for your team, but the directions usually work out. Then coming into the doorways, starting on this right side, this area is called 1. And the reason this area is called 1 is because on a config where you can actually see everything, there is a giant number 1 right here above the doorway. Similarly, there should be a giant number 2 above this doorway, so we call the area next to 1, this upper area, we call this 2. And then going on with the number theme, we have 3, 4, and 5. I think there might be a number 5 above here, I'm not sure. So, those are the callouts on last. We have heaven, above point, left, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5 come into lobby. This whole area is just lobby. The only differential thing you can say is lower lobby. Upper lobby isn't really said as much because right outside of lobby is either bats or upper IT. So we usually just group together this upper lobby area with either one of those callouts. And then lower lobby is different because it's a different doorway. Whoops, that's the wrong button. Through 2, this area is sometimes called rollout. This whole area, which includes bats, is just called rollout sometimes because this is where everyone rolls out to the mid-fight. So you might hear someone call this rollout. Alright, that's all of the calls on last. Coming up onto second, we have the point. We have, I have no clue what that's called. I just call it concrete, like this entire area is just concrete. Or behind point, you can call it behind that. You have your forward spawn. On the top left, this is trapezoid. If you ever bother to call that out, that's trapezoid, but you'll most likely never call that out. In front of the point, we have the pipe or rocks, or just choke if you want to just group it together with this entire yard area. All of this is just choke, but to differentiate that would be pipe if you wanted to call it something. On this right side concrete area, this area is called, it has multiple names, JFK or Al-Qaeda or any sort of suicide bomb, like a famous suicide bomb thing, because this is a popular soldier bomb where they assassinate, I guess, your medic. Alright, so I mentioned upper IT. This area, or rather, let's go inside first. This housing structure is just IT. All of this is IT. Hello.
What did I tell you?
I'm doing a review for other teams, so this is recording. Upper IT, and then lower IT, otherwise it's just IT as a whole. And the reason is because there's a computer in here. and yeah, computers, monitors. On the other
Hello.
side of the map, we have sewer. The reason this area is called sewer is because on an earlier version of the map, this was structured like a sewer. And then choke. Alright, coming into mid, we got our rock versus their rock. There's above point, or the crates, left, right crate, red, blue crate, whatever you want to call them. Our pack, there's IT, the point, above point, and forward spawn. Not many callouts that you'll say on mid. It's pretty obvious. You just say like above point or he's on the rock. There's not many like specific callouts. The only other thing I can think of is like this awning right here above sewer, but even then you'll just say above sewer. Alright. Rollouts. Demo man, you're getting your buff in spawn. You're gonna aim for that right side shutter door, but you don't want to go too far because if you jump too far, you're out of beam range, and your goal is to get buffed up to 260 again. Different demos do different things. I think I see some demos do a crouch det here. The end goal is to ramp slide through rollout. Some demos place a sticky on that left pillar, some place them in spawn. I place it right here on the right pillar. It's the furthest one away, but it's the safest. You do that, you det, and then you ramp slide into rollout or 2. Your next goal is to do a ramp slide in choke. This one is a little tricky. This one, along with Sunshine, I find to be the hardest until you actually like nail it every single time. It just sort of doesn't click until you get it like math class. Most demos use this door to align their sticky. I like to try to get it somewhere in the middle or a little lower than the middle of the door. And then just glide along the door and then just go horizontal. If you go too high, you're not going to ramp slide. You're trying to go horizontal towards choke. Kind of like that, but I didn't get distance. Then you ramp slide, you're in choke, and process mid. There's 4 different situations on the mid fight. You go left and you meet them, or you go left and they go right. You go right and you meet them, or you go right and they go left. Those are the 4 situations. As a demo man, you call out to your team which side you're going. If you're going left, say that so your team knows where you're going. Same thing on the right. General idea for demo man is trap off height and don't take too much space too early, because you don't know what's around this corner. Their entire team could be right there, and then you just die because you're too forward. So just trap height, play safe, you can grab the health pack if it's safe to, and then wait for your team to show up. Same idea on the right, except now you're on the low ground. Trap height, you can shoot across at them, and if you go too forward, you might die, because they might just jump you. So I like to stay around this candy bar, and just wait for my team to show up, and if there's a soldier bombing me, I can dip into sewer. Yes, so that's the very initial thing Demo Man does on the rollout. Next is soldier. Pocket soldier, very simple. Hit yourself out the door using 4 rockets. You'll probably land like right here if you hit every rocket near perfectly. And your goal again is to get below 80 health, because when you're below 80, you have the maximum speed boost from your pickaxe. And then you just walk. Just like a scout medic, you're just walking. Around this rock is when you would take it off, so you jump, take it off, and then you just continue walking forward until your medic arrows you. Oops. And now you're on mid. You follow wherever your demo man goes. Something you can do, there's multiple different things you can do. You can play ground for a little bit, like behind this rock, see where they're going, and then plan like a double bomb with your roamer. Just like Product, just like King of the Hill, soldiers want to try to stay healthy. Do not try to commit onto anyone too early. Like jumping forward here on, say, a soldier, and you're trying to take this 1v1, that is something you shouldn't really do early on. You want to try to preserve as much health as you can. And then, once you see the enemy team in a bad position, then you coordinate with your other soldier to just immediately double bomb onto them. For example, they're all huddled in that corner over there. That would be a good time to maybe go in for a double bomb onto them. So yeah, Pocket Soldier, you can play around rocks, see what they're doing. And then you have this high wall that underneath that lamp above IT where you can high bomb off of. I think I hit my head on a roof, but you got the idea. High bombing is really good. You can start all the way back at choke and pogo above the point at them. The roamer can like be right here where this glass window is. I see a lot of roamers play this glass window and they're just shooting people as they walk across. It's hard for them to notice you when you're on low ground, and then you can just jump over their heads onto the enemy team.
I love you, brain maggot. Never leave.
Other spot passively above sewer, or if your demo's going right side, you can land on top of forward spawn, but you don't want to stay passive forever. Eventually, your soldiers do want to commit in, because your soldiers are the ones going to be making space for your team. If your soldiers don't, then you're probably going to lose the mid-fight.
Pay no attention to the
Roamer, you get 300 in spawn, walking forward. I think I see some roamers do a left wall right here on this spawn door and then immediately pogo. Your goal is to ramp slide there and roll out. Again, I just walk up to this right pillar, pogo, ramp slide, and then this is like the most famous, I guess, rollout for a roamer. You do right wall here, pogo on second, ramp slide and choke. Kind of like that, and if you hit it really good, if you do a near perfect rollout, you can land inside of their choke. Not perfect rollout, you'll land on their health pack, and an even worse one, you'll be landing on top of the point.
You said it, brain maggot.
So, if you can nail this rollout, you might be able to catch out their demo man and get, like, either a trade or you live on him, right? Getting that demo pick is really good early on. So that is a play you can do, but if you do it too often, then they'll start to catch on and you will die instead of killing him eventually. Another thing instead of doing this immediately is you delay, like delaying it on purpose. And then your team calls you in. I kind of failed the jump there. If you go too high, then you know you're going to fail it. You want to go horizontal. Anyways, sort of delay your bomb. Your team calls you in wherever they are, and your soldier and roamer go in together. Otherwise, like I mentioned with the pocket soldier rollout, you're just trying to play passive, try to preserve your health, don't take too much damage, and then once it's time to go, you have a bunch of high walls you can jump off of. Alright. Scouts and medic. There we go. Crouch and spawn. Your medic's healing those other people. You guys walk forward. It's pretty standard stuff. You go through two. You drop down here. Try to avoid your soldier. Oftentimes, scouts like to just walk in a straight line wherever their players are, and that really pisses off medics, because then your medic hits you with the arrow instead of your soldier. So actively try to avoid your soldier on the rollout. Now you're on mid. Excuse me. Good starting spot for either scout, not both, is on top of this rock. You can see what they're doing, and then you can like jump to the side where your demo man called. If he said to go left, you go into the left. If he said to go right, then from this rock you have a really good double jump on top of the point. I think flank scouts use this to just get up on top of the point immediately. And you do not want their team to be the only ones taking above point. They have the high ground, they're going to shoot down on you, right? However, it kind of sucks when their flank scout can aim. So, you want your demo man and your roamer slash pocket scout to help you out taking that high ground. Your demo man would be like shooting stickies up there, trying to get that scout off, and then your scouts would jump up together and try to also force them off. If it's too risky for you to go up there, that's fine. Just play with your team, get healed up, don't take too much damage, and then once your soldiers decide, I'm bored of just standing here, let's bomb, then you would walk in together. But yeah, like completely giving up high ground is kind of suicidal for the mid fight, and it's very likely your team will lose if you have no high ground presence. So you always want to try to keep at least one person up here, or at least have no one up here. Meaning, like, no one on either team is on high ground. And whose job is that to, like, keep this high ground is going to be not Pocket Scout, it's going to be Flank Scout and both soldiers. Demo Man can help out by shooting them, but Demo Man is most likely going to be shooting stickies and pipes into the enemy combo, not on the high ground, very deep into the fight. So your soldiers and Flank Scout are the ones trying to keep control of the high ground. If they're alive, of course. If they're dead, then, you know, maybe you want to leave. Okay, so that's the rollout. I guess, yeah, so there's 4 different mid fights here. There's the mid fight where your team is meeting the enemy team. So something like this. Maybe a roamer's there. Something like this is where your team is on the left, and they're meeting you on the left. Oh, that's not where I wanted him. Something like that, right? Ignore that scout in the back. So this is called a meet mid, and more specifically, you're meeting on the left. When this happens, they are on low ground. And it's very easy for your soldiers to just bomb over their heads and land onto the enemy medic. It's going to be hard for your soldiers to do much more than that, because they'll probably die afterwards. What your demo man wants to do is just trap off this choke area and potentially any close high ground to him. You do not want to get too close, like maybe even this is too close to them, maybe just stand on the staircase here. And all you're doing is trying to prevent their scouts and demo man from walking across at your team. You can ignore their soldiers. The soldiers is not the demo man's job. That's your scout's job to deal with. Once your soldiers feel comfortable enough to bomb in, like they're full health or overhealed, and the enemy team is like in this corner called Death Corner for a reason, then your soldiers might want to go in for a double bomb. When that happens, your scouts and demo man are going to get aggressive and walk forward at them together with your soldiers bombing in. Classic double bomb maneuver, right? If shit goes south and your soldiers are unable to double bomb, health is weak, maybe you already lost a guy, maybe you want to consider just leaving. Because if their soldiers play this mid correctly, then they will still be near full health, and they might try to double bomb onto your team here. So it's really, meat mids are really fast. You either kill them all, or they kill you, or one of you leaves. And I'd prefer one of you leaves, right? Like, well, I wouldn't prefer them to leave. I prefer if you guys leave if it's looking bad for you. Okay, so that's meat mids. Next is rotation mid, where the enemy team decided to go their left or your right. So scouts are around here, medics over there, maybe a soldier on high ground, another soldier over here somewhere. So they're planning to rotate your right and you're going left. This is a rotation mid. On these kinds of mids, your flank is kind of screwed if they decide to stay too long on this right side. Your flank wants to rotate with your team in this case, and everyone wants to just keep rotating and try to jump whoever is slow on the enemy team. So for example, this soldier over here, he's slow and caught out. So your soldiers and flank scout want to immediately get onto this man and try to like take a 2v1 or a 3v1. Try to pick off people who are slow in this case. And if you rotate faster than them, then you can catch them out on your side of the map because they're going to be over here, right? They're rotating clockwise, they're on your choke, and if you rotate faster, you can catch them out and kill them on your side of the map. That way, if any of your players died, they're respawning, they can also collapse in, right? Anyways, you just keep rotating, try to catch people out. If your soldiers see a good opportunity to go in for a double bomb, then do it. Say, hey guys, we're gonna double bomb in 5 seconds, right? Or something like that. Or I'm bombing now. Preferably not that one. But yes, if your soldier sees a good opportunity, call it out, and maybe your team will then be able to follow up on that bomb, right? If you don't say anything, then you're not getting any support. So call out when you are bombing in. So that's rotation, and then same idea for rotation counterclockwise. You just keep rotating and try to catch people out who are too slow. Eventually you'll catch up to them, and then you will kill them. Or if you're too slow to rotate, then you die. The only other situation is meeting them on the right side. Something like, oops, that's the wrong class. Demo, soldier, soldier, scout, scout, medic. That's where your team might be. Their demo's gonna be like over here, maybe a soldier, I don't know, a soldier over there. Scout, scout, medic. Meeting them on the right is kind of bad for your team, because now you're on the low ground. Your demo man wants to either trap the height or also be shooting spam at their combo. If your demo man is supporting your players on high ground, then your team should be more focused on taking this high ground. For example, just laying a carpet right here allows your team to take this space because your scout can stand here, but the enemy scout can't, right? So your demo man supporting high ground, your players can take the high ground and shoot down at the enemy team. The problem is, these players are going to be far away from your heal beam. So you need to balance between shooting the enemy team and backing up for heals, etc. The other type of thing the demo man can do is be shooting at the combo. If you deal significant damage, then your soldiers can do a high bomb here, or just a regular bomb over the crates, whatever, and collapse onto them. Because you're meeting them, they're all going to be grouped up right here. Once your soldiers are bombing at the enemy team, they're going to probably be looking at the soldiers and not you. So you can walk a little bit more forward and try to either scattergun shoot them or like sticky off from a closer distance, right? Your scouts should still be hyper aware of soldiers trying to bomb your medic in this right side corner, because this is death corner for a reason. Soldier double bomb in, they kill your medic, right? So scouts need to be really aware of when soldiers are bombing in. That's the very basic overview of rotational and meet mids on process. Are there any questions about that? Of course, there's like more complex things going on, but that's the very general overview of it. Okay. Then we will start on our last and make our way to their last. So, defending last. You either wiped on mid, you wiped on second, or you left early and now you're on even Ubers, right? So it's either even Ubers or massive Uber disad. On even Ubers, there is a lot of different ways you can play this. The most, what's it called? Standard, I guess is the word. The most standard way of playing it the way most people play it. Oops, what happened here? This button, there we go. You got Demo Man trapping 1 and 2. You got a soldier in 3, and a soldier by 5. Scout is not good here. It's much better to just off-class. A good off-class on even Ubers, Engineer. You build a gun right next to spawn, and then you can move it forward to right here. A lot of people on my team call this the European spot, because a lot of Europeans place it here. Another spot is right in front of the point, because this spot does not watch the doors. Instead, it's more of like a I'm catching you off guard kind of gun, versus this spot actually watches the door. If anyone peeks 3, it shoots them. 4 shoots them. 5 shoots them. I don't know if it reaches 2. So up to your engineer where they want to place it. If you do have an engineer, your medic is probably going to be standing inside of whatever building is right here. So if there's a sentry gun, stand inside of it. Otherwise, it's a dispenser. Obviously, don't always do that. Go out and heal your team if they need it. But yeah, that's the general idea. This is where medic would be if you guys have an engineer. Oh, someone typed in classroom chat. Alright, another good off class I recommend on even Ubers, Sniper. This is an okay sightline. You can watch deep into 1, you can see in 2, and if you come over to the right, you can see a bit into 3. The left side, if you have the soldier here near 5, you can peek into 5. Oops. So you can see their toes if they're standing in front of the point. You can see anyone who's on bats. And walking a bit more forward here, I believe on this staircase, you can see back of point. This is very aggressive though, and if they know you're here, you probably will die. The other famous sniper spot, I guess, is right here in 1, either in the back of 1 or very forward. If you're in the back of 1, then you have someone open the door for you, right? Because you have this long sight line onto 2nd. The reason why the sniper would be this forward is to peek more towards the IT side if the medic is over there. Otherwise, you know, like, you just shoot the medic. Again, if you're that far forward, you're probably gonna die. Off class heavy is okay. Oops, that's the wrong button. Something like right here or right here near your medic. In heaven is okay if your medic's also in heaven, because any person who tries to jump your medic immediately gets mowed down by the minigun. And then in front of point is fine because your medic's right there. Anyone who tries to jump him similarly gets shot down. Spy, I probably don't recommend. You can do it to catch them off guard, because most teams are going to be slow to push into last on even Ubers. So it can work as like a one-off kind of play, but if you do it very often, they're going to catch on and be more spy aware, right? So you can do it, I just think these other off classes are better. And then Pyro is more of a, I'm on Engineer, and then when my gun dies, I'll switch off to Pyro kind of thing. Pyro, not the best. So yeah, this is the standard area where you would be, not up here, not here. Standard area in front of us where you would be on even Ubers holding last, right? A different setup you could do is your Demo Man is in 3, you still have your Roamer in 5, and now your Pocket Soldier is watching 1 and 2. Demo Man has a lot more geometry to play with here in lobby, like the upper lobby door, the staircase, you got the lower lobby door, you got like health and ammo pack where the boiler is, sometimes that catches people off guard. You could be trapping 5 if your Demo Man was over here. And then you can pipe lobbies down into upper IT, right? So Demo Man is also viable watching 3, as long as you have a medic near him. And then engineer again. Yeah, same off classes, same places for the off classes. It's just your Demo Man and Pocket Soldier switch spots. The reason it's okay to have your Pocket Soldier over here is because you just need to have someone watching these doors. You don't need to hold these doors because then your Demo Man just turns around and then shoots stickies over there, right? So you're just watching them, and then if they like hard hold W at you, then just back up. You can rocket jump right here, go back to spawn and resup. Or you can rocket jump to your medic and get healed, right? So, whatever your team prefers to do. Uber disad is kind of tricky. There's 2 different Uber disads. There's the buildable kind where it's like 20 to 30 disad, and the we're kind of fucked Uber disad, where it's either 100% Uber disad to 50% Uber disad, right? Regardless of what it is, your medic is going to be closer to the middle of heaven, but starting on right side heaven, because your Demo Man is going to be over here trapping something on this right side. You have a scout, if it's buildable, then you have a scout up here building with your medic. Otherwise, you might have something like a heavy. You have a soldier watching 5. Not holding 5. Do not hold 5 on Uber Disad. You just watch it. And you shoot people who are walking through the door. And then you might have an engineer on left spawn. So yes. This is what it would look like on Uber Disad. If it's buildable, then your Pocket Scout and Medic are going to keep building until you get Uber. You can say fuck you to the rest of your team. You come to me for heals, I don't go to you. Once the enemy team decides to push in, for example, they push in through 3 or they push in through 1, and they are Ubering through and trying to jump right heaven, then you rotate to left heaven. That's it. You're kiting the Uber through heaven to the other side, you link up with this soldier. It's very important that your roamer holds left side, because if you give up the left heaven, then your team has nowhere to rotate to. So very important that this soldier holds left heaven, your team rotates over, and then maybe you get Uber and you can use back onto them. Demo Man, the only reason why you'd be this far on the right is because you're still placing a trap. Once you've placed your trap, you're going to be closer to the center. That way you can rotate to the left with your team. If they use on the left, great, you're already far away from them on the right. You've successfully kited their Uber. Now you just have to hope that you guys somehow win this last fight. Yeah, so kiting is the same idea on massive Uber Disad, but if it's buildable, maybe you just want to use back onto them. Okay, I'd say engineer, do not try to keep this gun alive. If it's not safe for you to keep it alive, then don't. Oftentimes I see engineers just staying out here trying to keep their gun alive, and then they die with their gun. Like, what was the point of building it if you're just gonna die with it as well? The reason why you have the gun is so that you can stay back and spawn and then switch off to something like Pyro and then come back out. So yes. Don't be stupid. Okay, 5 CP. General tip for holding last, your soldiers, wherever they are going to be the first responders to blocking the point. Soldier has one of the highest mobility. Wrong button. This button, and then this. No, this one. So, either one is fine, just have one of your soldiers block the point once they start capping it. And then, once it's not safe for you to go onto the point, then you get someone else to stand on it, like a fully overhealed scout or a fully overhealed heavy. and then you go back to resup, and then you're back out jumping the point again. So while your soldiers are doing that, your other players want to try to kill people who are either not in their Uber or killing priority targets once their Uber is over. For example, their demo man is a priority target. Their medic is not a priority target. He just used Uber. He is not close to getting Uber again. Shoot the people that can kill you more easily than a medic can. So yes, something like focusing this demo man, maybe focus the pocket scout, or there's a soldier over here. Shoot the people who are threatening you. Together, ideally. Alright. That's defending last on even Ubers and Uber dissat. Any questions about that? Dealing with sniper when defending.
Hey, Jam.
Yeah?
And say you're at disad, and like I'm up healing the scout, and the reason they don't push in, and then we become even ad. Would the medic then rotate back down to where, like, if the engineer is setting up? I mean, I guess basically, would the whole team rotate to a different posture once we get ad and we're no longer dis? They still haven't pushed in. Would we, as a team, rotate? Like the engineer would move his gun up to point, and then like I would go down front and hide in the dispenser, or do we just stay where we're at?
Yes, that's a good question. So, once things even out, your team wants to then get back into that forward-ish positioning. Yes, so your demo man who's on this right side might consider pushing forward to 1 and 2 again and trapping this off, and then your pocket soldier is over there. Your medic is going to be a little more cautious because you have no clue what the enemy team is going to do. So maybe instead of like walking haphazardly forward immediately to the dispenser spot, maybe you want to still play closer to your demo man, but you will be jumping off of heaven, yes, because you want to be closer to the doors now that it's even Uber. You can more effectively exchange Ubers and try to block them. So, like I mentioned, maybe you're going to start over here next to your demo man, and then once things calm down and everyone is in position, then you could rotate back over to between 3 and 4. Does that answer the question? Yeah, the reason why I say you don't just immediately come over here is because you have, like I said, you have no idea what the enemy team is doing. Maybe they're just now starting their push, and a soldier is coming through 4 here, and he's like, oh, the medic's right here. And then you're forced to use Uber. That's happened to me like twice, and then I'm like, oh, I guess I just won't stand over there anymore. Especially when you don't have any scouts or heavy with you, or the gun isn't in position yet. Standing right here is kind of risky, because soldiers can't really stop fast enemy soldiers. This blue guy can just easily bomb right here, jump into 4, and now your soldier can't really deny him anymore. And that soldier just comes into last, and he's like, oh, there's a medic very close to me.
Wouldn't the medic would hold off moving forward until the engineer moved his gun up?
Yeah, that's the general plan, yeah. Unless you feel comfortable holding with your team. But yes, you're probably not going to be pushing forward until it's super safe to. Alright. Dealing with sniper. So, there's really only 3 spots, maybe 4 spots the sniper would be. One of them is in 1. That's the wrong color. In 1, 1 in 2. I've seen sometimes the sniper peeks 4, but very rarely. It's more likely that the sniper is over in 5, because then he has the longest sight line. So, I'm assuming this is on, like, this is either on Uber Disad or both teams just used Uber and they have a sniper for some reason. The sniper is basically a non-threat on even Ubers because your medic, who would be like inside of a dispenser right there, is not going to get sniped. The only reason your medic gets sniped right there is because your team sucks at holding their doors. So that if your medic dies right there, that is completely your team's fault and not your medic's fault. Yeah, that's why I say it's most likely like the Ubers were just used and they have a sniper, or you're on Uber Disad. In any case, if you don't know they have a sniper yet, and your medic's right here, oh, that's the wrong color. Your medic's right here, there is a chance that he could die to a sniper in one, but hopefully your demo man like has a trap in there, might be watching a trap like right here, and then he sees the sniper, he either kills him or misses his debt, whatever, and now your medic knows they have a sniper. Then he plays just in center. If he's peeking over in 5, this soldier right here should see him. Let me place him down again. This roamer should see that sniper and be like, oh yes, they do have a sniper. And then your medic is safe again. So I'm only talking about medic right now because that's the important thing. It's just really important that you spot doors. So the heavy is probably not going to spot a door. Your demo man is watching 1 and potentially 2. And your roamer is watching 5. So 3 and 4 are kind of a mystery. You could have like a pocket soldier. Damn, I keep doing the wrong color. You could have a pocket soldier initially forward just to see what's happening in lobby, and then he jumps away once they come into lobby because you're very forward and you might die here. So you see they're in lobby and then you jump away. If you hear a sniper like thanks doc or medic in the sniper voice line, then you know they have a sniper and you can call that out. So very important, your team is watching all the doors, then your medic gets into a safe spot. How to push out of second on full Uber Disad. Alright, so yes, that's medic watching doors. Here's the call, he gets in safe spot, right? Then the rest of your team. It's a little more tricky because you have a heavy maybe, you might have an engineer on the other side, so the only people who can really fight the sniper are your soldiers and demo man. Your demo man hopefully has a trap somewhere in 1 and 2 and can kill the sniper before he comes a threat. Otherwise, you're probably just like spamming pipes and trying not to get shot at him at the sniper, and you call out your soldier to bomb him. This roamer, you will see that sniper and attempt to get close. What I mean by attempt is he probably has a team behind him, and you just don't see them yet. So what you can do is bomb on top of these boxes and shoot down at the sniper. And then once their team comes in, then you can jump away back to spawn and get resupply. It's okay if you don't kill him, you're just trying to pressure him and get him out of the doors, and just keep repeating that cycle over and over so that he can't get anything in 5. Very important that you observe their positioning, because if they're starting to flood in, you can't really jump here anymore, otherwise you die. So at that point, you just gotta spam across at them and hope that you're pressuring the sniper enough. If you're feeling lucky, then you can all in onto that sniper. Trading a soldier for a sniper is a good enough play to slow them down. So you can do that if you think you can kill that sniper. Otherwise, I think it's also a good play to just keep spamming across at him and try to pressure him out. This other soldier is same idea. If he's peeking 1 or 2 or even 3, you're like jumping this area, spamming at him, and then jumping away. Same idea. If you think you can kill him, go for it. Trading soldier for sniper is fine. More specific question. On even Ubers, how does the demo man get heals? Does he walk towards 3 to get beam or move to where he can get an arrow? So I'm assuming you are watching 1 and 2 then, and your medic is like around the middle of the point. Something like that, so you're far away from the heal beam. Or your medic is on heaven for some reason. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. In this situation, you can just place like a passive trap here, walk over to your beam and say, hey, give me a crit buff, and then you're back in position. What I mean by passive stickies is like on the exit door or on battlement sign. Just along the doors so that they can't walk through. You can even just carpet the ground if you want to. And then once you see your sticky count decreasing, you know they're there, and then you can react to that. But yes, you will be rotating to your medic. The medic does not go to you if you want an overheal. Alright, I'm going to get water. Gonna get water, and then I'll talk about pushing out. Pushing out onto our second. The reason why you would be pushing out is either massive Uber advantage, like at least 30%, but like more likely closer to 50 or more. Or you have number advantage. For example, you killed 3 of them, and now you're going to push out with all 6 of your team. The textbook push says, if you're going to use Uber, the textbook push is Demoman, Scout, and Medic push out through lower lobby. You have a roamer watching upper IT. He does not push out until he knows everything is clear. You might have a scout go through 2, or 1, and then pocket soldier goes through the other one. So that's the standard way you push out of last going into your second. So when you're using Uber, you use on your demo man. Watch out for any stickies on lower lobby door. That is a very real threat, so you might want to use early. And your plan with the Uber is to kill their medic. That is the plan for every Uber, but specifically here you want to kill their medic. He will probably be like right here. His demo man will maybe be here. You got a scout with him building because maybe he doesn't have Uber yet. Then maybe you have a soldier trapezoid, soldier point, and then I don't know, like a flank scout right there or something. So you should plan to jump choke, but sometimes they think you guys won't push out and they hold point instead. So then you can maybe adjust your strafe midair and then land on the point. But otherwise, Demo Man, you're probably gonna be landing around here. Maybe even closer, like here. And then your scout and medic walk out, they try to catch up to you, and you focus fire down anyone who's close here, but you want to get that medic for sure. Otherwise, going for kills is completely fine. If you kill a lot of people, you can then convert that into a numbers push going into mid. But that's a story for another time. Yes, that's the general Uber push. And then your players come out through 1 and 2, maybe like a soldier on bats, and a scout capping the point. Like I mentioned in all my other 5 CP videos, prioritize capping the point as scout. assuming the Ubers are over, right? Because the longer you don't cap the point, the bigger threat it is that someone will back cap you. That's the reason why this roamer is here, to deal with any back cappers, because if some door goes unwatched, like no one went through one, you have no clue if someone is hiding there. They could back cap you at any moment. So this roamer needs to be hyper aware and ready to jump back towards last if there's anyone trying to back cap. Otherwise, a very important call out is they're all in front of us. That will tell your roamer that it's okay for him to walk forward now. So don't forget to say, yes, they are all in front.
So let's say that you have your setup is your roamers sitting there waiting on top, and you bust through. Let's say your flank is ready to roll out one. Through and I use. Do we get through our lobby? Is that when I say we're through? And then that signifies that our flank can bust through? Because normally when I'm playing newbie mixes and stuff, I'll usually tell them that where combo's going to go lower IT. And everything will work right. And I'll say we're through. Then like nothing happens and we end up in choke trying to chase down, and then everybody's capping. They just sit there. But in that, typically, aren't you supposed, the medic's supposed to say we're through, or we used, we're through? That signifies that everyone else is safe to come out.
I wouldn't say that it's safe to come out, but yes, that says that they should attempt to walk forward and help you, yes. I think...
while we chase?
Yeah, so I think during the Uber, your Pocket Scout, Demo, and Medic are trying to kill their combo, and these people are going to take it slow, the Pocket Soldier and the Flank Scout, unless the Roamer hears that they're all in front of us, he's not going to walk forward. Don't expect your Roamer to walk forward. But if he hears that call, then he will. Otherwise, you're only expecting your Pocket Soldier and Flank Scout to be walking, but they're going to be taking it slow, because they don't know where the traps are or where any of the enemy gamers are. For all the fucking person knows in one is, there could be a soldier standing right there at the shutter, and he's going to get fucked right as he opens it, right? So even though you're saying we're through, maybe this scout right here is hesitating a little and just peeks the shutter and sees what's happening. Because if he just walks forward blindly, he might just die to stickies, right? So they're going to be a little slow, and then they should walk forward and attempt to support you once they're able to get through that door.
Okay, yeah. Higher level teams, everyone knows you don't shoot the shiny people, so I guess the soldiers are just going to basically sit there. They're either going to try and stuff lower to keep you from getting out, or basically ignore you because they know they can't do shit. Yeah. But normally on newbie mixes, it's just a land fusion, so they usually immediately start trying to stuff or they immediately start trying to shoot the shiny people for some fucking reason. Yeah. And so usually with newbie mixes, it's safe to run out one because the demo's already deading because he's assuming he's going to start dropping stickies right in front of him. Right. I mean, because at higher levels, of course, everybody knows that if you can't stuff them from getting out of lower lobby, then you just ignore them because there ain't shit to do.
Yeah, like, for example, this soldier right here on Trapezoid, he's probably going to ignore those people down there and be shooting the people coming out of... Oh, he's going to be shooting the people coming out of 2, right? So this Pocket Soldier is going to have a hard time. In the higher levels, like you say. Okay. So, yes, you mentioned, like, trying to chase kills. Don't do that. Once you reach, like, that division between the dirt and concrete, you should not cross that line, no matter who you are, don't cross that line. You just used Uber, and if you did not kill their medic, then you guys are on massive Uber disad, and you should be playing on second, ready to leave and building Uber. So, if you didn't get anything, don't worry about it. At least you got the point. You can still build Uber. You can force them on their way in. Alright. So, if there's no questions about that in the chat,
One more thing, Jam. Let's say that the scenario you bombed in, basically you didn't kill the med, got everybody out, and you captured second, right? You know they're going to come back in what, 20 seconds when they catch it, when they get Uber, to come back in either with a bomb and then Uber or however. Would it be okay to send the flank scout back to last and have him just go ahead and go to engineer and start building, knowing that you're going to get pushed back?
If someone is watching IT, then yes, that is fine. Normally, you would have a scout watching lower IT, just to make sure that they aren't trying to do a sneaky push through IT and like catch you guys off guard. Because if they push through choke, that scout can easily just run back into lobby, right? So if someone is watching IT, then sure, that scout can go back and start building that gun. Otherwise, you don't have vision and you're kind of unsure where they're pushing from. So it's a yes and no kind of answer. All right. Defending second on even Ubers. Demo man, you'd be like right here on the tip of the concrete if you have a trap up, or maybe you're pressuring more forward into choke once you guys are going for a counter sack, which I'll get to in a little bit. Medic is going to be essentially on top of the point. Then you'd have a scout with him or a scout with your demo man, and then like a soldier with your medic. So all of these people are combo, none of them are flank. This is generally where you would see your combo members. Sometimes your soldier might even want to bomb Al-Qaeda to peek into sewer and see what's happening. But once he sees like there's many people in here for some reason, he's gonna leave. Do not hold that area. You would only bomb sewer if you had like 300 overheal. You were 300 health. If you're only 200, just stick with your medic. It's okay not to peek that area. Your flank players are playing in IT. Specifically, the roamer, since you have more health, you can watch IT more effectively. You can spam rockets in this general area, so like people are more deterred from trying to push. If they commit to pushing, it's okay to back up. You do not need to hold this area. For example, they send their beam in here. You're not winning that. They're only doing this to flush you out, so you might as well just leave this area. Oh, I fell. You can leave this area and just play on top of the point. That way you can still spam them in the doorway, you can spam them in lower lobby. And then, yeah, so I like to have my flank scout on the ground because he's in less danger if they're trying to push this area. But other teams like to have the scout on the high ground because, you know, scout on high ground kind of fucks the enemy team. The disadvantage to the upper IT scout is that you have a wall behind you, so you're going to get splashed a lot. So it's just wherever you feel like playing. I also placed the flank scout right here because you can also help your pocket scout shooting bombing people out of the air. Yes, so yeah, that's generally where you would stand on even Ubers. counter sacking. Let me get on soldier. There's a couple things you can do as roamer. Oops, I missed. You can do the rollout bomb, meaning you just start back here on 2, and you just do the normal rollout that you would have done, and then you can land onto the enemy medic. The problem with that is that you only have one rocket, so good luck. Another one is right here on this wall, or wherever you feel like starting. You can just ramp slide through choke, then land on the medic if he's close, or even the demo man who's like probably right here. Or you can literally just walk up to choke, do a right and left, and now you're on the medic. A less commonly done sack is going through IT. The reason this is less common is because your roamer has to walk through this tiny doorway. And most of the time, they're going to be having someone watching IT on the high ground. So they know your roamer's coming. This is pretty telegraphed. But if you can get through here unseen, this is pretty powerful. Not only are you behind them, you have a health pack right here, and you can also just bomb back to your side if you need to. But you can also go behind them as well. No, you're already behind them. What I mean is, like, go into their sewer if you want to, and then do an even longer con, a long con. But it's very powerful just coming through IT unseen, because then you get onto the enemy medic, and he dies pretty quickly. That's why a lot of people watch it, yeah. That's counter sacking. You'll probably never... Yeah, go on.
Would you recommend that? Because that is risky. Have a sniper hiding back behind small rock trying to shoot through choke. Would you recommend recommend a soldier do that type of bomb, because that way they can get behind the meat of the group and then kill that sniper?
It's probably more effective to just do the rollout bomb, because you can reach your forward spawn doing this. Right, you can easily just get onto him and then you reload into the air. That's if you know they have a sniper. You'll probably... So, it's tricky, right? Because they will probably always have someone up here on this crate watching IT. So, coming through here is 90% of the time not gonna work. But if you can, yeah, sure, like, you can come through IT and get onto that sniper. No, the answer to the question is I do not recommend doing it. You can probably just do this, and then try to do an extra jump here or something, like grab the health pack and then do another jump.
Do not look at this man's head. Go about.
Okay. That's holding forward on even Ubers. Holding back, there's 2 locations for your medic. One of them is here, and the other one is here. You would be essentially, this is assuming massive Uber desad. You would essentially be standing inside of this shutter door, because you still have a sightline on one. You can like shoot an arrow over there and maybe you hit someone for 75. Maybe you hit the medic for 75. You always will have your pocket scout next to you building Uber, and your demo man is initially trapping something, like he's up here trapping something, maybe like right here. Let me get onto demo and show you. If you place it in a good spot, you can make your stickies very hard to see. I'm getting unlucky with this RNG. Kinda like there. They can see it on the down, maybe a little higher. Oops. I don't know. But, I was caught off guard with that. As you're pushing in, it's not really your primary focus, right? So you're walking forward, you're shooting like a soldier on point or something, and then you walk up, and then the demo man deaths and you die right there. Another one is next to this pipe. If they're walking up pipe, they get splashed through this little crack. However, you gotta be quick about it. And then other common trap is like on point or on the sides of the choke. So you're initially placing a trap as Demo Man, and then you're backing up to your combo on Uber Disad. You would have a soldier, probably on Trapezoid, maybe a soldier on point. And like I mentioned, Flank Scout may be watching IT or upper IT, and then leaving once he sees people, because he doesn't want to die. And you have a soldier bomb into the enemy medic once they start walking in. Very important to only bomb once that medic commits in. If he's smart, he will bait in choke and like try to bait that soldier bomb out and you bombed for nothing. So bomb once you see the medic, not before you see the medic, is my recommendation. And while that soldier's bombing, it's usually going to be the roamer, wherever he is. Your other two explosive classes want to support him, so you can like spam pipes over there or charge your stickies across at him and shooting rockets in that area. Try to soften up those targets and allow your roamer to more successfully like kill someone. And then once that happens, you just back up. All of your team backs up regardless of whether the sack worked or not. The only reason why you would not back up is your roamer completely fucked them. He dropped the enemy medic and killed essentially the entire combo. Then you would still fight second. Otherwise, if that did not happen, you just back up onto last. Alright, any questions about defending second? How to get through IT unseen? Can I counter snipe through IT? Can you fight if the soldier only kills med and demo and not pocket scout? Alright, how to get through IT unseen? This is on the defensive end, so I don't recommend going through IT unseen. Counter snipe through IT? I don't know. I think sniping on defense kinda sucks. There's not that many great sight lines. You really have to commit to a sightline to see anything on the defensive end. Also, I'm not a sniper player, so I have no clue. Can you fight if the soldier only kills med and demo? I want to say if your team is feeling confident in their DM, then you should take positioning. Yes, you should attempt to take more ground on second, because this is assuming like your roamer, who is probably now dead, just killed their medic and demo. The scout is there, maybe like a soldier is somewhere over there, and the other soldier is starting to take space, right? Or maybe like a flank scout over there. So you're expecting only 3 more people in this grassy area. I think it's okay to take more positioning, continue walking forward. Your medic should still be cautious, because those 2 soldiers will most likely and definitely go in for a double bomb onto your medic. To try to equalize Ubers. So while your team, let me get rid of these ragdolls. While your team is taking space more forward here, your medic maybe wants to still be baiting a bit, and then have your actual combat classes focus down those players who are still in. There are high walls here, so your medic is not safe anywhere on second from soldiers. Frosty is typing. Do you recommend 2-man sacking out of blast? No. because your flank scout is probably on an off class like engineer or heavy. So the only other scout you would have is your pocket scout, who you want to be playing with your medic. So the only other 2-man that would be mentioned would be like a soldier 2-man. But I think soldier 2-man out of last is too risky. Like, sure, it can work, you like completely fuck the enemy team, but I think the majority of the time it's not going to work. And when your soldiers die, you have no one holding the doors and you have no one ready to bomb the point. Once like they start pressuring the last point. Okay, if there's no other questions about holding second, then we will go into pushing mid. Just like every other push, there's just 2 reasons: Uber advantage, number advantage. Teacher fear, yes. There's 3 doorways, so there's technically 3 different kinds of pushes, but no one pushes through sewer. If the enemy team sees you pushing through sewer, this is such a small doorway, the enemy demo will probably have stickies here, or he'll have them above, something like this, but most likely like on the ground. So that's one layer of defense you have to go through. Another layer is soldier on high ground, spamming down on the enemy team, maybe even 2 soldiers spamming down if they have both of them alive. So that's another thing you have to get through. And the enemy medic is over here. So, pushing through sewer, not viable. Don't do it. So that leaves 2 doorways. Choke, which is the more traditional push, and IT, which is less traditional. It's still doable, but you'd see it less often. Through choke, there's 2 ways you can play this. The first way is just use immediately, right? You just bomb your demo in, and then your scout and medic walk forward and try to catch up to him. You are expecting them to be around... Oh, that's the wrong color. You're expecting them to be around this area. Maybe even a little further onto point, but assuming massive Uber disad, you're expecting them to be very far back. Demomans, you need to remember, this is a huge distance you're jumping. So if you land very forward, you're going to be not in the Uber for like 2 to 3 seconds as your scout tries to catch up to you. And in that 2 to 3 seconds, you might die. So keep that in mind. Maybe you want to land a little further back, like right here or even under that bridge. It's okay if you don't catch that medic. I think in this scenario, it's more important to go for kills on just general number kills rather than going for that medic kill. So maybe you can catch these soldiers out. Maybe you can kill their flank scout, who's right here for some reason, I don't know. So try to get those number kills and then snowball your push into their second. Anyways, besides that, it's okay if you don't kill the medic. Just try to get whatever you can in this Uber. If they're playing far forward, they're being stupid, and you should be able to kill all of them. So that's Demo, Scout, and Medic. The other players, which include Pocket Soldier, Roamer, and Flank Scout, make sure you have someone... Oops. Make sure you have someone look at sewer, just to make sure there's no one hiding here. And then, that's probably the Pocket Soldier. And then you can jump through here. Like, you can jump up to the point. Or you can walk through. Just walk through and see what's happening. Your goal, as the people who are not in the Uber, is to try to kill off anyone who's caught out. Like this scout up here, or maybe there's a soldier right there. Like a soldier right there. Your goal is to take 2v1 or 3v1 on these people and try to kill them. Your flank probably coming through IT. Watch out for stickies up here. your soldier should always splash this corner. That way you can scatter any potential stickies that are there, and then you can start to walk through. So same idea, you're looking for anyone who's caught out, like that scout, you guys should go in to kill him. Otherwise your flank scout is capping the point. That's what flank scouts do. Okay. Are there any questions about pushing into mid? Alright. Then we will continue on to defending mid. Even Ubers. This is where things get interesting when you're owning the point. Demoman is holding choke. You got a medic nearby to heal him. You have a scout watching IT, another scout with your medic, roamer, and pocket soldier. So something like this, your pocket soldier is watching sewer, Demoman watching choke, and roamer is watching IT. Roamer could also be sacking. Let me get on to soldier. Once your team is ready to go for a sack, there's a few different bombs you can do. There's the bomb from point, which uses 3 rockets, so it's kind of bad. You pogo, ramp slide, another rocket, then you land onto the enemy medic. It's bad because you only have 1 rocket to shoot at the medic. Another bomb, which is slightly closer, is starting on this IT wall. You do a bomb here, and then you pogo and choke. And it doesn't get you that much distance, because I did it poorly, but if you do it correctly, you should be able to get a bit more distance. I'm just not doing it correctly. So, with that bomb, the 2 bomb where you surf and choke, you're most likely going for the enemy demo man, who's gonna be like around here. And that is a viable thing to do. Trading your soldier for the demo man is a really good trade. So you land on the enemy demo man, oops. You land on the enemy demo man, your demo who's in choke also shoots him down. Now you have a demo pick coming into second, and maybe you can convert that into a push. So that is a viable thing you can do. Another bomb, right up in choke here. Right left bomb. If you do it better than I did, you can also do a right. Then you can land all the way behind their point. I just kind of suck at rocket jumping. Kind of like that, but better. You can land on top of their medic. Another thing you can do, as the flank in general, you bring your heal beam into IT. And this is what's known as flushing them out. So you would bring your... This soldier can be either one. It can be the pocket soldier or roamer. You bring a scout and soldier in here with your heal beam, and you're just trying to force their flank out. While this is happening, your demo man and the other soldier are getting more aggressive in choke. So while the enemy team is distracted, or rather the enemy flank, is distracted with your small push in IT, maybe they start drawing eyes over there, and then you can get your soldier, the one in choke, in onto the medic. Or, if that's not possible, like this demo man is locking down choke like so aggressively that the soldier can't get through, then this soldier who's in IT can just walk up through lower IT, because you will get stuffed in upper IT. If you try to walk through here, it's not going to work out. Like this soldier, small roof here, like small doorway, you will not be able to get through. So coming through lower IT, it kind of sucks because you're on the low ground. There might be a scout right there, but you do have a high wall that you can jump off of.
I have returned from the grave to give the living haircut. We're a good team, Maggot. Yes, we are,
So,
soldier.
and then there's Al-Qaeda, yes. So you can bring a soldier into Al-Qaeda, and then you get your team to pressure first. because this is sort of a what's it called? I forgot the term for it. But it's pretty obvious if you don't have anyone pressuring for you. They can see you. You have a long distance to go. So you get your team to pressure in choke first, draw attention there, and then you jump through onto the enemy medic. Another thing is sending 2 soldiers through choke. One of them fake bombs, and then the other one does the actual bomb. So you get your soldier to come through choke here, they're looking at this guy, and then, like, a split second later, then the other soldier bombs through choke onto the enemy medic. So the soldier just did his fake bomb, and then I'm going in for my real bomb onto this medic. And then same idea everywhere else, you just go in for that fake bomb, and then anywhere else, like, you go through Al-Qaeda, then you go for your actual bomb. Alright. Say you flush out the flank and are in the scenario where you bomb a soldier through lower IT, could you send that soldier onto the enemy demo man with 1 rocket and have 3 to kill the demo? Sure. So the enemy demo man is distracted in choke. Instead of jumping up at that scout, you can just do a horizontal bomb and get onto this demo man instead. Yeah, that's completely viable. Like I mentioned, soldier for demo is a really fine trade. You probably won't get those 3 rockets off on him, but you can at least like deal a lot of damage so that maybe your demo man can shoot stickies and pipes at him and kill him. Oops. Oh my god, I keep doing that. Alright. That is holding forward. So, sniper. Sniper is okay. You can have a sniper here, sniper in the back. You can peek your sniper through IT. You can peek your sniper in sewer right here. You just have to have someone open the door, and then you have this sightline. Or you can have your sniper peek through Al-Qaeda, which is also known as JFK, because this is a sniper sightline, and JFK died to a sniper. So, sniper is fine if you are able to get those, if you're able to, like, go in undetected and shoot them in the face. Alright. Yes. Holding on disad. Holding on disad, you're gonna have soldier, soldier, or soldier. At least 1 soldier on top of the point, and maybe a soldier hiding above sewer. That is a very common soldier hiding spot. You will see a lot of soldiers stand there. You can have your flank scout on top of the point, and then your combo is going to be holding back. Maybe your demo man is like, oh, that's the wrong class. Your demo man is placing a trap somewhere, and then he falls back to your combo. So, once you see the enemy team walking in, don't bomb until you see the medic. Because that medic, he might be baiting in choke, waiting for that soldier bomb, and then the enemy team kills you and you get nothing done. So don't, like, this soldier is the one going to bomb, right? So don't bomb until your team says, yes, that medic is through. And then you can do a rocket jump onto him. Or you can go higher, I think. Oh yeah, there's a wall right there. Oh, I kinda messed it up. I think only 1 rocket is what you're gonna do, though. Just rocket jump up and you land onto the medic. These other people, soldier, demo man, you're shooting across. You're trying to, like, weaken them so that your soldier who's sacking has a better chance of killing someone. And then you leave. Again, the only reason why you would stay is because your roamer completely fucked the enemy team and dropped their Uber. Otherwise, these 5 people are leaving, and no one else should die. If you guys get Uber, you can then Uber back into them. Otherwise, you're just defending second again. So that's what you're doing on Uber Disad on mid. Any questions about that? Any questions about holding mid in general?
You were saying, Jan, earlier that a scout was usually up on crates watching IT. Is it supposed to be a scout, or is it? I always thought it was a soldier, because can a soldier do more damage than a scout in a small way? I mean, that always, when I'm main calling, I always tell like my flank soldier to get up on or get up on the crates and watch IT, because he can do so much more damage
Yeah, that's
than
fine.
scout.
These two people are interchangeable. I just prefer having a scout up here because what is he gonna do in this doorway where he dies to 2 rockets? So that's my reason for having a scout up there. He's not really doing anything until his roamer also goes in. And also, you have a scout on the high ground. So if some soldier decides to jump through here, your scout is essentially meeting him at eye level and then shoots him out of the air. If a soldier is like high bombing through choke, your scout can like meet up with him and shoot him out of the air. He's already on the high ground to do that. So that's why I like to have a scout up here, but like you mentioned, soldier up here is also completely viable because you just shoot down, you splash anyone who's there, and they're not breaking through you, right? But this soldier, who's most likely the roamer, is going in for sacks. He's not always
That's
going to be
right.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, the pocket soldier is watching sewer on the other side. Alright, any other questions about mid? Alright, pushing into second. There's actually 3 reasons here. You have Uber advantage, number advantage, or your sack just killed their demo man, so you want to try to take space. That third one is kind of a weak reason, because they still have 5 people alive, and depending on the Uber situation, they might want to try to stay on second and meet you. So it's a little flimsy going in off of a demo pick, but it can work. There's 3 doors and 3 pushes. All of them are completely viable. I'm sorry, there's 4 doors, but I count sewer as one. All of them are viable. Maybe not IT, maybe IT is less viable, but it's still very doable. The most traditional push is just an Uber push on your demo, scout, and medic through choke. This is on Uber advantage. So you take your demo man in, he jumps forward to somewhere like right here, because if you go too far forward, you're now out of the Uber and you might die. Your job on demo man here is not necessarily to get kills. Of course, getting kills is really good, because then you can convert that into another push on to last, but your main objective is to try to trap off any exits, so that anyone still caught in will die. For example, their medic's right here, he's not in one yet. You can start placing stickies behind him, and then he gets scared and backs up into those, right? So you want to prioritize trying to trap people off, but also getting any kills is also pretty viable if they're already out, like that medic is already out, just go for kills, right? And then scout and medic walk up and link up with you. The other 3 people, you only need 1 person to come through IT. You don't need both, and it's most likely you're going to send your flank scout through IT. This flank scout, all he's doing is flushing it out. He's not trying to go fast. It's not his job to immediately rush onto second. He's making sure you guys don't get flanked. So he's just looking at areas carefully, making sure like, there's no one hiding, and then he can come forward. That flank scout should be extremely scared of anyone hiding around corners, because you are alone. You will die if you're caught off guard. The other two soldiers, one of them just make sure you clear, this is probably the pocket soldier, just make sure no one's in sewer, and then you guys are probably both going to jump through choke. Or if you went through sewer, then you can jump through sewer as well. But both of them are probably going to jump from this area, and you're just trying to also catch up to your combo and try to focus down people who are still caught in. Again, assuming uber advantage. So you guys can get pretty far. There is a high right wall here, so you can get practically anywhere on second. Alright. That is the choke push. Another push is through IT. Generally, this is a double scout push, but you can bring in an explosive if you want to, an explosive class, but they're kind of slow since this is an enclosed space. The reason why you take double scout is because they're fast in these smaller areas. So coming through IT, you're bringing 2 scouts and a medic. Your demo man is probably still in choke, trapping that off and waiting for your team to push in. These 2 scouts coming upper IT, and you are just walking across at them. You're trying to not use for as long as possible. You should still be scared of stickies, but it's very uncommon to see any stickies on IT. It's most likely like around point or on choke or something. So still be scared of stickies, but you know, the likelihood of them being here is not very high. Then you walk forward. If you get forced here, like most likely you're gonna get forced in this doorway. If you get forced here, it's whatever. Because now you're making space for your team. You're using your Uber to try to push them out. That's all it was. It's good if you get kills, but normally you're just using this IT push to push, like, flush the enemy team out so that you guys now own second. While the scouts and medic are doing that, your soldiers, same idea, jump in, and then your demo man walks in. Your demo man probably not going to jump because there's not a need to jump. You're not in the Uber, so just walk up, charge your stickies, and then shoot across. But your soldiers want to immediately like take ground and make sure that your medic has an escape route once the Uber is over. Because you don't want your medic to die. So your soldiers are taking high ground and trying to make sure that no one else is able to get in onto your medic. And then finally is the push through sewer. Usually, this includes, again, scout, demo, medic. Sometimes you might have your pocket soldier in here, but most likely your pocket soldier and roamer are going to be around choke. And then again, your flank scout goes through IT. So here, you guys are going through sewer, hopefully unseen, and you're trying to take space. This is the dry push. You're trying not to use Uber and just try to pressure them out. So like they'll probably be positioned there, and then their scout and medic are back like on 2 or something. And the demo man is like over here or something, I don't know. So something like that. They should fear jumping into you, even though your medic is in a corner. That's the wrong color. Even though your medic is in a corner, these 2 soldiers should fear trying to jump into you. The reason is because that one over there has to, like, make a huge jump even to land in this area, and you see them. Your team, especially your medic, sees those soldiers and can see when they're jumping at you, and they're jumping into a scout. So you shouldn't need to use Uber. You can just back up into sewer if you need to. and then your team takes space. This is a pretty slow push because they don't want to leave before you guys use Uber, but you don't want to go too far forward into all of their spam. So you guys are taking this pretty slow, trying to dry push in, take space as you go. Maybe you have your soldier jump up here and then you're shooting down onto this person. So you're trying to like take space little by little and pressure them out with this kind of push.
Brains! I love you, brain maggot. Never leave.
All right. Actually, let me see if you can even make this jump. Oh, I guess you do have that high wall right there. So the soldier on trapezoid can still reach you, but your medic sees him and should be expecting him to do that anyways. Versus coming in through choke, your medic is coming in blind. He's just relying on your team to see for him, right? So that's why coming through choke is, as a medic player myself, I like to just like stay back and wait for my team to say, yeah, you can come in now. Alright, that's pushing into second. Any questions about that?
Can you go over the theory? Because when I'm playing and main calling as medic, I'll tell people we're going to dry push through because I know that we have numbers and we have Uber ad, and what that means to other people, but then it just falls apart. They like hesitate and stuff, and they end up getting just killed. But how do you dry push? Is it based on what your Uber ad is or what your people advantage is?
Yes. There's multiple factors into dry pushing. One of the biggest, or I guess a factor to dry pushing is how confident your team is in their damage. If your team isn't confident in like going in without an Uber, then don't, right? If you're consistently losing dry pushes, then don't go in for a dry push and just wait and build up Uber ad. Is this being recorded? Yes. So yeah, that's one of the factors to dry pushing is just confidence and going in and being chads and just damaging them down. Other factors, like you mentioned, are number advantage or Uber advantage. If you have significant Uber ad, like 40% or more, your team might want to consider dry pushing in. That's not to say to go in before you have Uber. You do want to build up your Uber ad first and then use that as a tool to pressure them out. Because if you don't have Uber and you're dry pushing in and they send in fucking 2 soldiers and 2 scouts onto your medic, what was the point of pushing if you're just gonna die, right? You don't have an Uber to save yourself. And then numbers advantage, right? If they're down 2, 3, or 4 people, or even ever, like, let's just focus on 2 people. If they're down 2 people, your team wants to focus on taking space. Since they're down 2 people, they don't have those 2 people watching doors. They don't have those 2 people in areas that they normally would. So your team can exploit that and take control of that area. But more specifically, your team wants to be playing together and taking like 4 versus 2 fights rather than one-on-ones. And what I mean by that is maybe their demo. Oh, whoops, let me get a no clip first. Maybe their demo is like right here on point, their medic is behind point, maybe they have a soldier on trapezoid and a scout. These are their 4 people alive. So your team wants to take the numbers fight, even though you're on low ground. Your demo man has arcing projectiles and can shoot stickies and pipes up to the point. And then your soldiers maybe like take the fence here or like are bombing high and causing a distraction and making people look at him. And while that's going on, the rest of your team So this is under the assumption the soldier's bombing. The rest of your team is trying to pressure forward and take advantage of them looking at that bombing person. And if they're not looking at the bombing person, then that soldier who's bombing completely fucks them. So dry pushing is really just confidence and some sort of advantage. You always need to be taking space little by little. If you just try to fucking go in head first,
That was my question, because that's what would happen is that, because I've always thought of dry pushing is you'd have one guy come in and maybe bomb, right? But everyone else would just basically walk the hell through and take grass and then
yeah,
just push, either kill them outright or push them so far back they have to run. And what would happen is they would assume it's more like an Uber. And so the demo would bomb all the way across the point and freaking insta-gib.
yeah,
And I'm like, no, dude, we're not using Uber. We're just dry pushing.
yeah.
You know, we're not going in there to, just massively air bomb them. Well, shouldn't we use Uber? No, not when it's 4-6 and we've got 100% ad.
Yeah. So that's yeah, Heck mentioned you don't need to have your bomber commit either. That is completely true. Like this soldier who's bombing into the air, you can just completely swerve them and then land behind this wall and get an arrow. The point is your team is pushing in. Yeah, see you later, man. Your team is pushing in together. Your soldier who bombed in very fast alone, that's a detriment. Like those soldiers want to be coordinating with the people who are walking, and soldier is more of a draw eyes, make a distraction kind of player. So he's just dancing around while your team is walking forward and shooting at people who are distracted at him. If he's going in
So
alone and your team is too
you're just
slow,
taking ground.
yeah,
You're
that's
just basically
ground
pushing,
very
either
slowly,
pushing them
yeah.
out or they die because they did something stupid.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I said. You're taking ground little by little. Tell 2% he should try being whole? No. Okay. I hope that answered your question. Anything else about pushing into second? Boy, this has gone above my time frame of 1.5 hours. Anyways, holding second on Uber Advantage. There's two situations. You're either in lobby or you're not in lobby. If you are not in lobby, I recommend soldier on trapezoid, maybe a soldier watching 2 on that slanted roof. Your scout and medic are around point. Be careful of 1. There could be a sniper in 1. So there's a small ledge right here. You can get onto that, crouch, he can no longer see you. Or you can stand by these windows. The person in 1 can't see you, however the downside is a person who's in lobby can, he can see your toes. And if you go further back, then any sniper who's on the side can also still see you in 1. So playing behind point, or rather to the side of the point, I guess, you're not completely safe. You're either countering one or the other sightline. Another position medic can be is right here in between 1 and 2. You just need to make sure your demo man has a trap on 1 and your soldier is watching 2. Then your medic is completely safe here. Then there is the very passive hold on even Ubers. Well, you would be standing here if you just lost a lot of players and they're just respawning, but you want to stay out of sniper sightlines. So you would be here on like numbers disad. Meta or demo over there, trapping that area, and then flank scout is just around wherever he wants to be. So this is outside of lobby. Going into lobby, you still have a soldier like on trapezoid or on this metal wall, and the reason is because he is watching 1 and 2. Your demo is in lobby, so he is not watching 1. So this person is the only one making sure that your team is not getting flanked. The only reason this soldier would not be in here is because you are sending 2 soldiers into lobby to try to kill this person over in 5, which I'll get to in a second. In that case, this soldier is replaced with a scout. So, coming in lobby, your demo man around this area, your medic on the staircase, unless your team is full committing into it. Otherwise, you're just playing back. You got your scout near your medic, and a soldier kind of like in the center of lobby. He's mostly peeking 5 and the long sight line in 3. So coming into lobby, this would mean that your team is now trying to go in for a sack onto last. I find sacking onto process last like the most difficult thing on any 6's map in rotation. Frosty, how do you sack onto process last?
Get through whatever doorway you can. You can get through 3, you can get through 4.
Right.
I prefer my team pressuring 3 while I get through 4. It depends on if there's a gun.
So let's say there's no gun yet. So you're
Okay,
going
so
through
you
4
can, yeah, and then you jump to the left and off the left wall.
like this.
Yeah,
Although better than I would do and land over there.
yeah. We're just typically on the medic. Although sacking into this last is aids. Sometimes you
Yeah.
could go through 5 into heaven and then have your team pressure harder. But realistically, you can also just do a 1 rocket from 3. Because the med is typically going to be playing like close enough. It's impossible. Soldier's a bad class.
Alright. So, besides that, what Frosty just mentioned, or rather, in addition to that, he mentioned having your team pressure. And these doors kinda ass, because it's a two-way street. You spam their demo man, but their demo and soldier also spam back at you. So, I prefer having my soldier slash 2 soldiers come through 5 and 4 and peek, make space, and pick off people who are close rather than going for the medic. So I can have, or rather, a soldier scout too. There might be a soldier who's in 5 and being stupid for some reason and standing right in the middle. Your 2 soldiers slash soldier and scout can just go, oh, I failed my jump, can bomb onto him, get that pick, and now you have space on 5. Alternatively, there's like a gun right here. That's the wrong class. Gun right there. You gotta get this soldier out of here first. So you pressure him out, like your heal beam is right here or something. Healing this soldier, you pressure him out. And then your soldiers, both of them in lobby, spamming this gun, getting that down. And you're taking space in 5 and getting kills on people who are close. And then you just see what you can do. Bomb a cross point. Bomb demo man who's like over there. Oh, where am I? So I'd be over here. You could bomb demo man who's by 1 and 2. Just whatever to get in and cause chaos. Process last kinda aids for sacking. Alright, once your sack goes out and inevitably fails, you guys back out of lobby and come back onto the point. Get on those positions I was talking about, like trapezoid or the point, trapping 1, maybe you could trap above 2 as well. They will most likely counter sack through either upper lobby or through 2. And it should be very easy for your scouts, if both of them are alive, to shoot both of the, or to shoot that one soldier out of the air. And then you guys reset and go back. If you guys don't plan on exchanging, then you just do the same thing over and over. Some teams like to come up sniper or spy. A good sniper angle, if you can get in 2, you just peek this corner and you shoot their demo man, or you shoot the medic. Most likely there's going to be stickies here, so you might instantly die. In lobby, you can see the demo man across in 3. If you're able to get into 3, you can still see the medic. I think the most common thing you'll see is a sniper peeking 5, killing off this person, and then he has the long sight line onto the medic. Or if the medic is hiding, he can shoot anyone else if he's uncontested. Spy is more going to be your soldier is sacking and the medic is distracted on that soldier, and then the spy comes in from behind. So it's more of like a combo sort of play rather than his own thing, unless he sees a good opportunity to. But most likely, you're just going to wait for your spy to get in position, and he's going to be like, make a distraction now. And then your spy goes in. So, yeah. Your soldier / demo makes distraction, and then kills you as spy, kill the medic. Meme strategy, rolling out heavy to process last. I've seen that done once. Let's see. Yeah, that's holding and sacking on even Ubers, and then holding back on disad, like I shown. Medics back in choke, scout building, demo man trapping something, soldiers on high ground, and then flank scout is somewhere else, like maybe right there watching lobby to see what's happening, and then backs up once they start coming in. So the plan here is your medic who's building with scout, that's fine. These 2 soldiers should get healed if they can, and then you're back in position, and one of them is planning on bombing onto, you don't even need to be that far, you could even be in choke. One of your soldiers is planning on bombing on to the enemy medic once he starts walking in. If they don't use Uber, you bomb onto him. If they do use Uber, you try to bomb out. So like you can leave through sewer or something. The reason why I like having a soldier here in choke is because you have a high wall. You can high bomb onto them, and you are consistently getting healed by your medic, so you're always 300 health. Yes, that is playing back on disad. Pushing in. 3 reasons why you would push. You have Uber advantage, number advantage, or you're saying, fuck it, let's exchange. Number advantage depends on who you've killed. If you've killed the demo man, pushing in through 1 is viable, because you have no fear of stickies. This is usually where the demo man traps stuff, so normally you would not push through 1 in fear of the stickies. But if you've killed the demo man, this is completely viable. You can push in through here with like scout soldier or scout demo man or even scout soldier demo man. And your plan is to kill the people who are close. If you can't because they kited over, it's whatever. It's just your team has ended on the left side. So it'll be something like scout, demo man, medic, soldier, and then the other 2 flank people are over there somewhere. Your team has ended on the left, and so you want to be shooting across at them. This soldier is either shooting down at the point or trying to pressure across heaven. That's the soldier's job. This is probably the pocket soldier. And your scout and demo want to be focus firing down people who are across the point, like a heavy or a sentry gun. This is post-Uber, like your Uber just ended and you got nothing because they successfully kited away. Your pocket scout, he can initiate capping the point and trying pressuring them forward, or he can attempt to walk forward across and leave your flank scout to cap, and your demo man is like trapping this area or trapping the point, causing the enemy team not to be able to touch the point, and then you guys win. Your roamer / flank members, there's 2 doors you can come through. Sorry, there's 2 ways you can come in. One is lobby, and the other one is through 2. I do not recommend trailing your combo, because that just leaves too much area for the enemy team to start flanking behind you. For example, no one comes into lobby. Like a scout and soldier can come in through here and just avoid the Uber and then recollapse onto you from behind. So you always need to have your flank go in opposite directions of your combo. So like a soldier in lobby, maybe a scout with you, or a soldier in 2, right? And what you're doing is waiting a little bit after your combo says we used. Because you showing yourself immediately gives the enemy team a target to shoot, who is not shiny. So the shiny players are over there, they see you over here, they're going to send like 2 soldiers onto you, right? So you want to avoid that, wait a little bit, and then collapse in with your combo once you see a good opportunity to, like peek the door, see what's happening, and then jump in if you think it's good. Flank scout, depending on what side your combo ended on, you're going to be over there. And your main goal is either to like clean up any frags, anyone who's weak on the side, or like your demo says that soldier over there is piped. You can attempt to go hunt him down. Other than that, you're with your medic trying to cap the point. Very important that you put pressure on it, because then the enemy team has to respond to that. If no one is pressuring cap, then the enemy team doesn't need to respond to that, and they just focus on shooting you, your team instead. So flank scout, you can stand here, you have ×2 cap rate, you're forcing the enemy team to stand on this, and then you back up to your medic, get healed if it's not safe to stand on there anymore. Pro tip, capping the last point wins the game. Exactly. Not many people pressure cap when they're pushing in, so they often fail their push. Some teams pressure cap too much, and they leave people on the point, so oh, that's the wrong class. So they leave people on the point, and then these people die because they stood on it too long. Alright. So that's pushing in through 1 on numbers ad. A different push is just really any doorway. You're just trying to take space, similar to taking space on second. You were just trying to take space here and pressure them out, and it's the same kind of idea. This is under the assumption you're not using Uber now. So you have someone pressure the cap, your demo man is trapping off this area, your soldiers are taking high ground. And then if you see a good opportunity to, then your medic, scout, and demo can just Uber across the point at them. So coming through 5, pretty simple, you just pressure them away and start pressuring the cap.
Hey, Jam. Say the enemy team has sentry gun by right spawn, heavy on point, and we're doing the standard Uber of demo scout through 4. What is the priority? Is it killing the sentry gun, then rotating, killing the heavy, and then bait? Or is it heavy and sentry, then bait point?
Alright, that's a really good question. Is this like even Ubers or Uber advantage?
Say we have probably 15 ad.
15 ad, holy. Alright. So in this case, you can, so for the video watchers, ignore these red people over here, just the blue people and this combo.
I love you, brain maggot. Never leave.
So in that case, you're using through 4 here. Your priority should be, yeah, small ad push. Your priority should be killing this heavy weapons man and leaving your soldiers, who are probably like in 5 and maybe trailing you through 4, you're leaving your soldiers to shoot that gun. So you kill that heavy with your Uber, and then if you can still catch them out, you would try to also kill their demo man over there. Your demo man, if he attempts to jump, he's going to get knocked back by the gun. So hopefully your team called out that off class beforehand, and you're probably just going to be Ubering and walking forward rather than jumping. Yeah, so you're not going to catch the medic. He's going to build Uber in time, unless you're a god and you like avoided the sentry gun and landed 3 pipes on the medic. You're probably not going to catch that medic. That's fine. Go for the kills. Kill that heavy and kill the demo man before they get. That will increase the chance of your team winning this push. And then your soldiers, like I said, shooting that gun and taking space on the right. If you pushed through 3, it's kind of the same idea, except your soldiers might have a harder time because they don't have the combo with them. Pushing.
The sentry gun's going to be firing at the combo because they're closer, so that that'll allow the soldiers to take out the gun without getting blown out of the sky, right?
Yeah, but I was more thinking along the lines of they also have. Oh, that's the wrong color. Let me just delete everything. Engineer, soldier. I was more talking along the lines of they also have soldier classes. So if your combo is pushing in through 3 instead of 4, these guys are kind of alone. They don't have the pressure of the Uber. So these soldiers can bomb forward and meet your soldiers, and they'll have a hard time shooting that gun down. So pushing through 4 here, these soldiers have the pressure of the combo behind them, and they can easily spam without fear of a soldier bombing them. Anyways, yeah, so if your combo goes through 3, those soldiers kind of have it tough because of that counter bomb thing. And then, while the demo man can avoid the wrong color, while the demo man's bomb can avoid that sentry gun, I still don't think it's worth it on that small ad. If it was huge ad, then yeah, sure, you can bomb in. But on small ad, I'd say continue to just walk forward at the heavy and try to like get these kills rather than trying to go for that medic.
If you take out the heavy and pause demo and your soldiers take down the sentry gun, even by the time they get Uber, they'll have maybe 3 people, 2 soldiers, and the engineer that switched back on to, they'll have a scout. They'll have 2 scouts and
Yeah, they'll
2
have
soldiers.
4 people, yeah. But that's fine, because their Uber only lasts at most 8 seconds, and if they don't flash their other players, those players get killed by your 6 people, right? So that's still advantageous for you if you just went for kills on your Uber. If you didn't get kills, then I'd say just leave, because that's a disastrous Uber push.
You are all maggots. Oh, sorry, brain maggot.
Okay.
I forgot you were there.
Did that answer your question? Alright, yeah, so taking space 5 push and then Ubering across when you see a good opportunity, pushing through 1. And then like we just mentioned, the traditional pushes are through 3 and 4, the traditional Uber pushes. You have Demo Man, Scout and Medic coming in through 3, or mirrored on the other side through 4. Which door you go through depends on what's happening on last. If the Medic and Demo Man are on the left, you go through 3. If the Medic and Demo Man are on the right, you go through 4. If there's a sentry gun and heavy on the right, you go through 4. If there's a sentry and heavy on the left, you go through 3. So it's really just depends on what you see on last, and then you go through the appropriate door. So usually you go through 3, because this is where the enemy medic and scout are, and then like a demo over here and a heavy. So you usually come through 3 because you're trying to meet the enemy combo on Uber ad. And your demo man places sticky right here, and he tries to jump into heaven and try to kill them. If he doesn't get the medic, whatever, just go for kills. But ideally, he would kill the medic. Your scout and medic want to walk up and try to catch up to him and also shoot down anyone who's nearby. This would be a left side push. You're ending on the left. So your pocket soldier also wants to come on the left. Your roamer probably does not want to go in through 4 or 5 because then he's alone. So he might come in through like 2 or something. And then same thing with your scout, he might trail behind your combo or come in through 1. You just have your team on the left. Call that you're ending Uber on the left. Everyone should know what that means. Should is the keyword. And then like I mentioned, demo traps off point, your soldiers are taking high ground, you guys are shooting across point, and someone's trying to pressure the cap. That's going to be the standard way of pushing, no matter what. It's just the Uber pushes are different every time. Same thing through 4, except now you're ending on the right side. So, you Ubered across, your combo is now over here. Jam, you don't need to mention this. This is more for Airborne's question. Okay, I guess I won't read it then. So yeah, same idea on the right side push, just everyone on the right side. Scout pressures point while he can. If he cannot, then he just backs up, gets healed, and then goes back in. Obviously, this is the ideal positioning. This is not going to happen during real gameplay. It's most likely that you guys will all be scattered like over here, over there, like this, something like that, right? But it's just important that you're all on the same side, you all have the same idea of what's happening, and then your soldiers can coordinate a bomb onto the enemy team, or just continue spamming across at the enemy team together, right? What's important is that everyone knows what's going on, you got that spam pressure, you got that cap pressure, and your demo man is trapping shit. Alright. Yeah,
If I can ask one more question, Jam, and then I'll leave you alone about this.
I'm
Problems.
done with the map talk now. Yeah, it's just questions now.
The problems I always run into when I'm main calling and stuff is somebody, because the problem is when I've Ubered people in, we're going blind, and I didn't send anyone to peek to see what side heavy's on or what side engineer's on. At what point do you send one of your scouts up front to lobby to peek? Is it when you're capping second, or is it if you know you're going to cap second, it's not going to be an issue? You tell your flank scout or your pocket scout to run forward and peek last. That we just get waxed every time we go in there because we'll Uber through 4, but then everything's on side spawn. And so we basically wasted our Uber all parking it on right when we should have crossed over or gone through 3.
Mm-hmm. So,
at what point do you send someone in to peek to find out what it is they're building?
it's whenever you're planning to push. So it could mean that you're just having a scout there and then the rest of your team is forward, or you've already capped and you've already sent in a sack. It's just whenever you're planning to go in for a push, that's when you want to gather information on what's happening. So you could have a soldier peek 4 right here and see what's happening on the left and be like, yeah, they are not on, sorry, soldier peeking on the right. And then he'll see, oh yeah, they have like a sentry gun right here. Or, like maybe a soldier or a scout after clearing any traps right here peeks through 2 and sees, oh yeah, they have like a heavy right there. So it's just, you're planning a push, and your soldiers and scouts are trying to peek doors to see what's going on, and then you're hopefully you're around 80% when that information is coming in, because like if you already have Uber and you've been sitting on ad and you're still planning to
Yeah,
push,
see, that's
kind
the
of
other
bad.
thing is, yeah, we always, because it seems I'll have 25% ad while we're capping point, but then people are f***ing around.
Yeah.
And then by the time we actually get info, it's like 5% ad or we no longer have ad advantage.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when can I tell them, dude, go in there? Is it like based on Uber or what your location is?
Well, in the first place, I probably wouldn't be pushing on 20 ad in newcomer because
And
you know
like
teams are slow.
if like say we're capping second and we're at 80%, right? And
Hello?
and
Hello.
and like
There is
there,
nothing unusual about
let's say we
the
have
red
40% ad. I want one of my scouts or somebody to go in there and be looking. So then we'll all plan formulated by the time we hit Uber. That way, by the time I hit 100, we're running through the door.
Mhm.
I don't want to sit there and be fucking around in lobby taking spam and have to back out anyway because everybody's fucked up. So I
Yeah.
mean, I send the scout in ahead of time, peek and
I
see.
would not have my scout peak because he has the lowest health pool in sixes. I would instead have my soldier peek to see what's happening. So while my scout and medic are playing here, and my like demo's getting in position, my soldier who's more forwards is looking forward, sees like a demo there, a scout and medic over there, and then he backs up immediately. He sees where they are and he just says that. So
Surrender now, maggot.
when you're
Not
around
time
80%,
for the metaphor.
you should demand that your players either get in position to push or get overhealed. Because you're not going to have time to overheal people once you use Uber, right? So you get your players in position, that person peaks, and then once you hit 100, if your team is still slow, just use Uber, right? As medic, I know it's frustrating that your team is slow. Sometimes you just lead the charge and they follow you. And then they'll learn over time, oh shit, we gotta go. But yes, instead of scout, I'd replace that with soldier. He sees what's here, and then you choose the door to Uber in through. Yeah, so leaving that scout there, 80%, kind of the problem with mid main color, yeah. Because these other players, since they're not main calling, they are just waiting on your decision. So you really have to be proactive and say, like, what's on last? And then your soldier's like, yeah, they have a heavy on the left. And you're like, great, we're Ubering in through 3 right now.
Brains.
Alright, what did this person say? Wouldn't rely on just cap point, though it's reactionary play. I don't know, because if you're just dilly-dallying around, like, strong color, soldier, and maybe like a soldier here, and scout, and demo, whatever, and they're over there, like, they're not planning on moving from their position when they're holding last. So, you gotta force them to move. You have to be the one to make the play. The longer you don't do anything on last,
Sorry, brain maggot. I
the
forgot.
more successful their defense will be. They have a respawn cabinet, you don't, so eventually your team will have to leave. That's why I think the people who are pushing into last have to be the ones to make plays. And one of those plays is just pressuring cap. Alright, yeah, so
Pay no attention to
what
the
you've been
top of
saying,
the
Airborne, is just a really common problem of just people not doing shit. You just have to, sometimes you just lead the push, and then they follow you. if they don't follow you, then it's their fault. And you just yell at your team like, why didn't you guys fucking push in, dumbasses?
Well, to be fair, I usually am playing newbie mixes or newbie mix Friday, so half these people don't even know the call outs.
I
But
have returned from the grave to give the living haircuts.
I thought you were on a newcomer
It's like-
team.
please, I'm not good enough to be on a newcomer team yet.
What? Newcomer is meant for newbies. Alright, if there's no more questions, I'm ending the video. Is that it? Alright. And that was CP Process F11. Good luck.